In life, we often go through the motions, waiting for the right moment to make a change. But the truth is, we don't need to wait for some grand event to alter the course of our lives. Every decision, every thought, every moment offers an opportunity to make a shift that could lead us in a new direction. It's all about how we choose to respond to the challenges and opportunities that come our way. The first thing we need to realize is that we are not defined by our past. So often, we let past failures, mistakes, or even the expectations of others dictate what we think is possible. But today is a new day, and the only thing that matters is what we do next. The power to change our lives lies within our hands, and the decisions we make in the next 20 minutes could be the ones that set us on a completely different path. Start by looking inward. What is it that you truly want out of life? What are the things that light a fire inside you? The dreams that you've been too afraid to pursue, or the passions you've set aside? Often, we get caught up in the grind, in the responsibilities and obligations, and we forget that we deserve to be happy, to follow our dreams. But what if, in these next 20 minutes, you make a commitment to yourself to prioritize what matters most to you? We live in a world that constantly demands our attention, where distractions are everywhere, and it's easy to lose sight of our own goals. But it doesn't have to be that way. What if you could take control of your own time? What if, instead of letting the world decide how you spend your days, you chose to spend your time in a way that aligns with your values and desires? This moment, right now, is a reminder that you are in charge of your life. You have the power to choose what direction you want to take. Whether it's a small step towards a bigger goal, or a bold leap into something new, the change you seek is entirely within your reach. But it requires action. It requires the courage to make the decision to move forward, even if it feels uncertain or risky. Fear is something we all experience. It's natural to be afraid of change, of the unknown, of failing. But the real failure lies in never trying. The real risk is staying stagnant, letting life pass by without ever stepping into the fullness of your potential. We are all capable of more than we realize. We are all capable of greatness, but it takes courage, persistence, and an unwavering belief in ourselves to tap into that potential. In these next 20 minutes, make the decision to choose yourself. Decide that you are worth investing in, that your dreams are worth pursuing, that your happiness matters. It might be the most important decision you ever make. It might not feel monumental in the moment, but it will ripple through your life in ways you can't yet imagine. The actions you take today will shape your tomorrow. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment and think about the life you want. Picture it clearly in your mind and let that vision drive you. Let it motivate you to take that first step, no matter how small, toward making that vision a reality. The next 20 minutes can change your life forever, but only if you decide to act, to believe, and to commit to your own future. This is your time. The only question is, will you take it? In life, we often find ourselves caught up in the routine of our day-to-day activities, thinking that change will happen eventually, that success will come to us through hard work, or that happiness is a distant goal. We tell ourselves that we don't have enough time, enough resources, or enough opportunities to make a difference. But the truth is, there's one thing we all have in common: time. Time is the one thing we can't control, but we can decide how we use it. You might believe that you need years of planning, months of preparation, or a lifetime of hard work before you see any significant changes. But that's not true. In fact, you can change your life in just 20 minutes. 20 minutes might seem like a small amount of time, but in reality, it's more than enough to make a pivotal shift, to start a new path, or to recognize the power you hold to make decisions that could alter your future. The first step is realizing that your time is valuable. How many of us spend countless hours on activities that don't bring us closer to our goals? How many of us scroll through social media, watch TV shows, or engage in mindless distractions without questioning whether it's helping us grow? The truth is, it's not. But that's okay, because it's never too late to change. In these 20 minutes, you have the ability to reassess your priorities. You can think about what matters most to you. What is the one thing you've always wanted to do but never believed you had the time or courage to start? It might be a career change, learning a new skill, or pursuing a passion you've put on hold. Maybe you've been dreaming of writing a book, starting a business, or traveling the world. Whatever it is, you can use these minutes to begin. That's the beauty of time. It's fleeting, yet it's always available to you. Ask yourself, what's holding you back? Often it's fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of judgment. But in those 20 minutes, remind yourself that fear is just a feeling, and it can't control you unless you let it. Fear has no power unless you allow it to hold you back. The most successful people are not the ones who are fearless, but the ones who are able to push through their fear. They don't let it stop them from taking the next step. It's also important to realize that every small action you take can lead to something greater. A single decision, a single step, can set in motion a series of events that will eventually lead to significant change. Whether it's taking 20 minutes to research something you're passionate about, reaching out to someone for advice, or even simply writing down your goals, these small actions compound over time. They lead you closer to the life you want to create. You may not see immediate results, and that's okay. The most important thing is to start. Take the time now to make a commitment to yourself. Decide to stop waiting for the perfect moment and begin to make decisions that reflect your true desires. This is your time, and these 20 minutes can serve as the catalyst for everything you've ever wanted to achieve. Life won't wait for you to be ready. It won't pause until you feel like you've got everything figured out. But that's okay, because life is about learning, growing, and adjusting along the way. It's about taking those small moments and turning them into something meaningful. So, don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Create it. Take these next 20 minutes and use them as the beginning of a new chapter. Change is not about drastic, overwhelming shifts. It's about the small, consistent steps that lead you to your greatest potential. And in 20 minutes, you can make the decision to start. You can make the choice to change. You can begin building the life you've always dreamed of. The power is in your hands. Now, it's up to you to use your time wisely. In life, we often get caught up in the routine, in the pressures of daily tasks, and in the expectations placed upon us by society, friends, or even ourselves. It becomes easy to forget that change is within our grasp at any moment. But the truth is, all it takes is a single decision, a single moment, to alter the course of our lives in ways we can't even imagine. We live in a world where instant gratification is easily attainable, where distractions are abundant, and where it feels like we are constantly moving, but rarely progressing. But within this chaos, there is also opportunity. The opportunity to make a shift, to embrace something different, to step outside of what's comfortable and challenge ourselves to become more than what we thought possible. Change doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. It doesn't need to be something that takes years or decades. Sometimes it only takes a single action to set things in motion. A single choice can begin a journey that leads to an entirely new direction. Imagine that for a moment. Right now, in this very instant, you have the ability to make a decision that will start a ripple effect that could change everything about your life. Could be as simple as choosing to stop holding on to the past, to forgive yourself for mistakes made, or to forgive someone else who hurt you. Or it could be choosing to step out of your comfort zone and take on a challenge you never thought you were capable of. The thing about change is that it doesn't need to be dramatic to be significant. Small choices, when made with purpose and intention, build on each other over time, leading to profound transformation. Think about the things that have held you back. The fears, the doubts, the uncertainties. What would happen if you let go of them just for a moment? What could you accomplish if you were no longer limited by the stories you've told yourself about who you are or what you can do? You are capable of far more than you realize, and sometimes all it takes is that one step forward to unlock everything that's waiting for you. Consider the power of setting a goal, something that excites you, something that scares you, something that ignites your passion. It doesn't matter if the goal seems big or small, as long as it is meaningful to you. When you commit to it, truly commit, you'll begin to see opportunities appear where you once saw only obstacles. Your mindset shifts, your perspective changes, and the world around you starts to look different. You begin to notice possibilities that were always there, but which you hadn't been paying attention to. Change is not easy, and it's certainly not always comfortable. There will be moments of doubt, frustration, and fear. There will be times when you question whether it's worth it, when you want to give up and go back to what you know. But this is where the real transformation happens. In those moments, you have to dig deeper, find the strength to push forward, and trust that every step you take is one step closer to becoming the person you want to be. No journey worth taking is without its challenges. The truth is, we all have the ability to change, to reinvent ourselves, to take control of our lives in a way that we've never imagined. The question is, are we willing to take the first step? Are we willing to believe that the life we want is possible? And if we are, then we must act, because waiting for the perfect time or for the ideal circumstances will only delay the inevitable. The perfect time is now. So, take a moment and think about the one thing you can do today that could change the course of your life. Could be as simple as choosing to take action, to change your mindset, or to make a decision that moves you forward. Whatever it is, do it with intention and do it with purpose. Every decision you make, no matter how small, is an opportunity to shape the future you desire. In the end, change is not about waiting for the world to shift around you. It's about realizing that you have the power to change yourself, to take control of your story, and to create the life you've always dreamed of. All it takes is one moment, one decision, one step forward. And that moment can happen right now. The choice is yours. The time is now. Change your life forever, starting today. In the next 20 minutes, I want you to think about your life in a way you might never have before. We often hear that time is the most precious commodity. Yet how many of us truly understand its value? Time isn't just something we passively experience. It's a force we can harness to create change, to shape our future, and to determine our own path. Each day, we wake up with the same 24 hours as everyone else. But what sets those who truly succeed apart is how they use those hours. The difference between living a fulfilling life and living one full of regret isn't about the time itself. It's about how we choose to spend it. The first step toward changing your life forever is recognizing that you have the power to take control of your time. The truth is, we often make excuses for why we can't change. We convince ourselves that we don't have enough time, that our circumstances are too difficult, or that we're too old, too young, or too inexperienced. These are nothing more than mental barriers. Realizing this is liberating because it puts you in the driver's seat. Every minute you spend questioning your ability is a minute you waste. Every second spent wondering if you can is a second you're not actively making progress. But once you accept that time is yours to command, everything starts to change. Let me remind you of a simple fact. Your habits, your choices, and your decisions define your life. The way you spend your time today will shape the person you are tomorrow. In the next 20 minutes, if you can decide to shift even one of your habits, one of your perspectives, you'll have made a decision that could potentially change your life forever. This is how powerful a single moment can be. We often think that big changes require grand gestures. We think that in order to change our lives, we need to make huge leaps. Move to a new city, change careers, meet the right person, or accomplish something monumental. But the truth is, life-changing shifts often begin with small, deliberate decisions. Deciding to be more present in each moment, to prioritize your health, to let go of the things that no longer serve you. These might seem small, but over time, these decisions compound and create momentum. Start small. If you want to be healthier, you don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. Take 20 minutes a day to exercise. In those 20 minutes, your body will thank you, and your mind will begin to shift. If you want to learn something new, set aside 20 minutes a day to read or practice. Over time, those small increments of time add up to significant knowledge and growth. The key is consistency. If you dedicate even a fraction of your time to pursuing something meaningful, it will eventually become a part of who you are. The second thing to realize is that change is uncomfortable. It's not always easy to face the unknown, to step outside of what feels safe and familiar. But growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when we're stretched, when we confront our fears and doubts head-on. If you want to change your life, you need to embrace discomfort. You need to be okay with feeling uncertain, with taking risks, and with failing. Failure isn't something to be afraid of. It's a lesson, a stepping stone on your journey. Without it, progress is impossible. Imagine what would happen if you made the choice today to stop waiting for the perfect moment. If you stopped looking for the right opportunity, the right person, or the right circumstances, and just took action now. What could you accomplish? What could you learn? The power to change is always within you, but it requires action. Action that might feel small at first, but is always the first step toward something bigger. You might be thinking that you don't have 20 minutes. You might feel that your schedule is too packed, that there's no room for something else. But the truth is, you do have 20 minutes. We all do. It's just a matter of how we prioritize it. Take 20 minutes each day to work on your passion, to reflect on your goals, to improve yourself. It doesn't take a huge chunk of time to start the process of transformation. It only takes a single decision to start, and from there, momentum builds. You don't need to wait for a better time, a more convenient moment, or for someone else to give you permission. This is your life. You have everything you need to start right now. Time is passing whether you decide to make a change or not. The longer you wait, the more time you waste. In 20 minutes, you can start to shift your mindset. You can begin to take responsibility for your life, to make deliberate choices that will set you on the path to the life you want to live. So, what will you do with the next 20 minutes? Will you allow them to pass like all the others? Or will you use them to take that first step toward changing your life forever? Imagine having 20 minutes to change your life forever. It sounds like an impossible task, right? But in reality, the most profound changes often come from moments that seem insignificant at first. It's not about grand gestures or massive shifts. Sometimes, it's the small, deliberate steps that lead to a monumental transformation.